Hi, I put this together, this short video, to show you the beginnings of the CIS1060 data analytics project. This is to cover part one of the project, and by now you should have received an email from myself or one of your instructors with a data set. And this video is going to help you get started using that data set. Now, there are multiple ways with Excel in order to be able to start this project, but one of the things that I will recommend at the very beginning, before you get started, is create a folder and then put all of the files that you're going to use for this portion of the project inside that folder. So for example, I created a folder here on my desktop that I'm moving around, CIS1060 Project 1. This is Project 1 because this is a 4-part project and this is only covering part 1. So right here is the PDF file that is the instructions that are available in your courses as you learn modules. I'm going to go ahead and double click on that, and there are multiple bits of information across this whole thing. I'll try to break it down for you, and we'll talk about each little component, but the most important thing that I am going to cover with you in this video is how to get this data set that you received by email into Excel. All right, so let's start with the project. So in short terms, the description here is broken down into first giving you an overview of the project. One of the key things to be able to identify with this is that this is a 4-part project that builds upon itself. So every time that you complete one of these assignments, you'll need to make sure that you save it because it will be your starting point for the next part. You're going to receive a data set that is of 3,000 randomized transactions. By the way, each data set is unique for every student, so your answers will not match mine and they will not match that of your peers. So just keep that in mind when you're working with this. This is about the process of analytics, not necessarily getting the right answers with your spreadsheet. If you wanted to learn more about this particular data set, you can go to this link right here, which is found at the bottom of your worksheet, and it will give you some information. In general, this is a data set that was published by some of the instructors and other professors at App State University, and it represents transactions at a local sandwich shop. However, in this particular example, the data that you're going to be using is very limited. In this particular example, this data right here is the data described that is in the data set you have been emailed. What is down below, this portion right here, is the data that you will calculate using formulas and or functions in this part of the project. So if you wanted to read through this and get some ideas about what each field means, please do so. Keep in mind when I'm speaking of fields, that these right here are the names of each field. Sometimes those are called values. And then of course this side on the right hand side is the description of that field. Okay. One of the things that is going to be key with this particular project is making sure that your workbook is prepared and saved appropriately. Just to let you know, this is the name that we're looking for when you submit your project file, and every project should have a documentation sheet. Unlike Cengage projects, this project does not come with a documentation sheet. You will have to make it on your own. I've provided you with an example in this image. However, it's up to you to make your own documentation sheet, and it can look any way you want. Let's get started with loading this data, and then that will probably be all for this video, and then we'll get started on some other components for a follow-up video. So first I want to open Microsoft Excel. Now, there are more than one way of doing this particular assignment, and I want to be able to do this in a way that will work best for most of you. Now, traditionally, people might go to the Data tab and insert the data from text to CSV, and in Microsoft Excel 2019, the dialog is different than Microsoft Excel 2016. So what I am going to do is show you a way that should work for most of you. Now, there are always some variations to this, so as always, please contact myself and or go to tutoring to be able to help get through some of these issues if you have them. Perhaps one of the easiest ways to be able to do this will be go to File, go to Open, and we're going to go ahead and find that data set that we had saved. Now, if you recall, I put this on my desktop in a folder called CIS1060 Project 1. Now, when I look in this folder, there is nothing here. One of the things I need to do with Excel is I need to tell Excel to look for all files, because this file has a CSV extension, which stands for comma separated value. Now, some of you might be able to double click on the file and open up Excel. It opens up Excel automatically. Some of you may not, which is why I'm going through these steps. So I'm going to select onto the file name, and then you'll notice that the file name is here, and I'm going to hit open. It should be able to bring all the data in. If you see all these hash marks, all you have to do is auto-fit all the columns. Quick and easy way of doing that. Hit the upper left-hand corner and double-click on one of the sides of the columns. All right. Now, in the instructions, what I want you to do is I want you to save this as a Microsoft Excel file with an XLSX extension. So what you'll need to do from here is go File, Save As, go to the folder that you want to save it in. Just so happens that's my current folder. And I want to now save this file type as a Microsoft Excel workbook. And it has to be last name, first name, and I think it's Appwich Project 01. Now let me verify that. Going back to here, yeah, Appwich Project 01. There we go. Okay, didn't have this little underscore. Let me delete that. So I am going to save this right here. So this should get you through loading your data as well as creating an Excel workbook. Now, the next thing that you have to do is you have to rename this this particular tab. The instructions tell you to rename this as Data Transactions. I got a little ahead of myself. The other thing that you have to do is create a new sheet called Documentation. Make sure that this is the first sheet, and then of course you create all of the fields that need to be here. All right. Make sure you save your work. So I'm going to hit save, and this is hopefully enough to get you started. I will start another video from this point forward to be able to get you through some of the beginning parts of the analysis.